The epic North versus South battle rages again. The tension, the rhetoric, the politics is palpable. The contention, delimitation. The fear, reduced representation inside the parliament. Will delimitation change India's political landscape? Will it be a win for the North and a loss for the South? Are southern parties playing on regional psyche by raising the bogey of delimitation? Or should centre come clean on what exactly will be the delimitation formula? The big delimitation debate on To The Point this evening. All right, our top focus continues to be the massive political face-off brewing where it comes down to delimitation. Now, M.K. Stalin has called for an all-party meet on the 5th of March because what he fears is there is going to be, where the South is concerned, there's going to be on a back foot when delimitation exercise occurs, especially after the caste census takes place in 2026. Now, at the back of it, Amit Shah, the Home Minister, has made it very clear, saying that this is all fear-mongering by southern parties like the DMK. The South states will not lose political representation when it comes down to the parliament. On the other hand, Stalin today, taking the debate further, in a sarcastic remark, asked couples who have just been married to quickly start having children, saying earlier, we used to suggest population control, but we might just pay the political price of population control. All of this at the back, viewers, because till now, all delimitation exercises that have been carried out in the country have been on the basis of demography, population. Listen into M.K. Stalin.
குழந்தைகளை நீங்கள் பெற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டாம், அவசரப்பட வேண்டாம், கொஞ்சம் பொறுமையாக இருங்கள் என்று சொல்லிக் கொண்டிருந்தோம். இப்போ சொல்ல வேண்டிய அவசியம் வரல, சொல்லக்கூடாது இப்போ. ஏன்னா மக்கள் தொகையின் அடிப்படையில் இடஒதுக்கீடு அந்த நாடாளுமன்ற எண்ணிக்கை வரும் என்று சொல்லுகிற நேரத்தில் நமக்கு எண்ணிக்கை மக்கள் தொகை அதிகம் இருந்தால்தான் எம்பிக்கள் அதிகம் வரும் என்ற நிலை இன்றைக்கு உருவாகி இருக்கு. ஆனால் நாம் குடும்ப கட்டுப்பாட்டில் கவனம் செலுத்தி அதில் வெற்றி கண்டோம். அதனால் இந்த நிலை நமக்கு ஏற்பட்டிருக்கிறது. ஆனால் இப்போ யாரும் உங்களுக்கு குழந்தைகள் நீங்கள் அவசரப்பட்டு பெற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டாம் என்று நான் சொல்ல மாட்டேன். உடனடியாக பெற்றுக்கொள்ளுங்கள்.
All right, so fair amount of politics that is taking place. We're going to get you other reactions as well of the BJP leaders from the north also hitting back in just about 30 seconds. Going to get you those reactions. But first up, what is delimitation? Well, it's the process of redrawing parliamentary and assembly constituency boundaries. It's happened before, carried out to reflect changes in population, conducted to ensure fair representation based on demographic shifts. And especially in the recent past, we've seen massive demographic shifts, especially where population is concerned, favoring the north, while the south loses out in terms of population. It decides how many seats will be reserved for SC/STs also. As per constitution, delimitation must happen after each census. The task carried out by Delimitation Commission, which is set up by the Parliament. On the other hand, what's been the history of delimitation? Let's take you through that. 1951 is when the population was 36.1 crore. The first delimitation exercise was carried out after the caste census, and at the back of it, there were 494 Lok Sabha seats deemed across country, and that is how it was spread out. 1961 again, the population had risen to 43.9 crore. The Lok Sabha seats then cumulatively came to 522 distributed across the country. 1971, the population then again jumped by over 10 crores at 54.8 crores. And as per the caste census and then the delimitation exercise carried out since, 543 seats were allocated and adjusted across the country. The sad part, viewers, is that we've had a huge change in demography over the last many decades, but we really haven't had any delimitation exercise because we haven't had a census. Delimitation needs to take place after the census. Now, 1976, there has been a delimitation freeze to boost population control. Now, the southern states do feel that they have done all that they could to control their population, and today might pay the political price for it. Because if on what was the traditional benchmarks of conducting the delimitation exercise on one person, one vote, then southern states will lose out. Now, Tamil Nadu could lose 8 to 9 seats on that basis. Tamil Nadu's total strength right now stands at 39 Lok Sabha seats. So a loss of 8 to 9 seats could really diminish the political clout of Tamil Nadu when it comes down to parliamentary democracy and the Indian Parliament. Kerala could actually lose up to 8 seats, Karnataka 2 seats, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana 8 seats each. And the loss of the south would be made up for a gain by the north. Uttar Pradesh could gain up to 11 seats. It's at 80 Lok Sabha seats already and could jump to 91. Bihar could again add 10 more seats to its kitty, and Rajasthan 6 seats. Rajasthan, of course, stands at 25 seats right now. So just to give you examples there. Now, delimitation would affect the south. We will lose representation in Lok Sabha is something that MK Stalin has said. This is exactly where each party, where do they stand? So you've had Tamil Nadu, where you've just heard, we took you through what MK Stalin's stand is. Mr. Siddaramaiah, Karnataka Chief Minister, has been very clear on where Karnataka stands, does not want the delimitation exercise to take place. You've had Revant Reddy suggesting that the BJP now conspiring to weaken southern states and politically as well as financially. What's interesting in all of this, of course, is where does the TDP stand? Because Andhra Pradesh right now, viewers, is a ally of the NDA, and even the TDP, one of the TDP MPs has suggested if delimitation is done based on population, southern states stand to lose out and it doesn't cut with them. So the questions that I asked this evening, MK Stalin or Amit Shah, who is speaking the truth on delimitation? Should the government come clean or no loss to south assertion? DMK fueling delimitation hysteria in Tamil Nadu is what the BJP suggests. But what most southern parties have made it clear is that south states will be penalized for what was mandated and asked of states across the country, population control. All right, let's cut across to our political face-off this evening. Anil K. Antony, National Spokesperson, BJP. A. Sarvana, Spokesperson, DMK, with us. The latest A. Sarvana coming in, where you've had your Chief Minister who's come out and actually asked for people to have more kids. Many say you're trying to play in on the regional psyche of the citizens of your state. You are fear-mongering. You are whipping up a hysteria where none of this should exist.
Yeah, see, all this so-called hysteria, so-called fear-mongering and whatnot, the division and everything could be just quelled by a written assurance from the Prime Minister. And why is he not doing that? See, this is a very, very real issue. We are not talking something which is imaginary. We are not whipping up passion. This is a constitutional mandate. The 2001 84th Amendment is frozen for 25 years, and this 25 years ends in 2026. And cleverly, see, if you look at cumulatively what the BJP has done so far, they have played like a chess game, everything to checkmate the southern states. They have not conducted the census immediately after the 2024 elections, which they promised on the floor of the assembly. Why are they doing that? Because the census that takes place immediately after 2026 will be taken into account. In the normal course of things, the census would have taken place only in 2031. So they could have done this delimitation exercise only after 2031. But they cleverly, cunningly did not conduct this census before 2026, and they intend to do this census after 2026 and usher in this delimitation immediately. And look at their flippant statements. Oh, it will be on pro rata. You don't have to worry, your seats will not come down. The delimitation is a complex issue. It cannot be wished away by this mere flippant statements of these BJP leaders. We need assurance. You are saying your seats will not be reduced. So what does it mean? Does it mean that the seats of the other person, if the seats of the other states, highly populous states are increased, where are we? What will happen to us? Oh, it will happen on the basis of pro rata. If it happens on the basis of pro rata, again we will be penalized. See, the most important crux is this 13.49%. That is the leverage. That is the percentage of seats we hold when compared to this 544 seats. 39 out of 544 is 13.49%.
Mr. Sarvana, it's going to be a hard cut. Your time is up. I'll come back to you in 2 minutes. I want to bring in Anil Antony. Anil Antony, before we begin, just want to quickly apprise you. It's a 2-minute counter for you to put in your views, and then we'll go back to Mr. Sarvana. The question, Anil Antony, is you yourself come from the state of Kerala. You understand the dynamics of delimitation. What's so wrong if the government is asked today to come clean on what is the formula? Because whichever formula one looks at presently seems to suggest that the South will lose out, because every formula is going to come at the back of demography, population, one person, one vote.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to say that right now the opposition has clearly run out of ideas after the Lok Sabha election, after the recent elections. This so-called India alliance has been comprehensively rejected by the people, and now they are coming up with hypothetical situations and they are coming up with imaginary issues. It is nowhere. It is the Constitution of India that clearly states that finally delimitation exercise has to happen at some point of time. It has happened multiple times in our country's history. Census is a regular process that happens every 10 years from 1951 onwards. Every 10 years it has been happening. In 2021, because of 3-4 years of the pandemic, 3 years of the pandemic, it is slightly delayed. But the process is ongoing. And the delimitation also, there were 4 times it has happened before, after the 51, 61 and 71 census. The delimitation committees were there, and in 73, that was the last time where a delimitation committee actually suggested something. But in 1976, there was a 42nd constitutional amendment which froze the process for 25 years. Then 2021, there was another census. And after that, 2001, there was a census. 2002, again, the delimitation committee has frozen it for another 25 years. Now that time is coming. But our Home Minister has very clearly said, it is in Tamil Nadu itself, in Coimbatore, where 2 days back our Home Minister clearly said that no states will be losing seats. But at the same time, the census is happening. The census should be completed in the upcoming months. And then finally, the Bharatiya Janata Party is constitutionally bound to protect constitutional provisions. And we will ensure that every person in this country will be getting their constitutionally guaranteed rights, their constitutionally guaranteed provisions. And this is what the so-called India Alliance members are now opposing. Mr. Rahul Gandhi himself, he wanted to do census, and he wanted to redistribute. Yes.
All right, sir. Okay, your time, no, you still have 3 seconds. I'll give you 3 seconds earlier in the next one. But Mr. A. Sarvanan, coming back, to you, the fact is India has been living with the anomaly of disproportionate distribution of Lok Sabha seats, many would suggest. And historically, if you look at it, the North has had more in terms of population and demography, and the true spirit of democracy would be that a fair, census happens and delimitation happens on the basis of demography. There could be a percentage fall for the South, but it's not going to be more than 5-6%.
See, Preeti, that's what I was talking about, this 13.49%. This 13.49% is what we have been enjoying for the last 50 years. So why should suddenly it be taken away 5 or 6%? It matters because if you look at it in the last 10 years, none of the parties from the state of Tamil Nadu has been part of the union government. We were not able to contribute to the union government. So what has happened to the state of Tamil Nadu? We have been sidestepped. We have been treated like, we have been given a stepmotherly treatment. We are not getting enough funds. On top of that, the question is why the BJP wants to do this. 1971, in 2001, they froze with regard to the 1971 census. Why did they do that in 2001? Because the population control measures kicked in after 1970s. So even after that, the North Indian states did not adhere. They did not follow this population control measures. So it was disproportionate. I told you there is equal protection of laws. The Indian Constitution offers equal protection of laws. So we are at a disadvantageous situation because we followed the diktats of the union government and contributed to the growth of India's economy. If you look at the states which have lesser population, their human development indexes is high, their economic growth is high. When the states grow economically, it means India becomes a superpower. If the North Indian states have also controlled this population on the levels of the South India, India could have been economically still more prosperous. So whatever we are looking at, we should not, the BJP is looking at all these things only with a narrow prism of winning elections, narrow prism of staying in power. BJP should look at the larger picture. They should not just work for Hindustan. India's beauty lies in its diversity. BJP should accept this diversity and promote this diversity, but they are obsessed. They have this toxic obsession with this oneness. That is their undoing. And definitely we are not going to listen, or we are going to believe what Mr. Ambedkar says. He's the most
Mr. Antony, I want to bring you back.
politician.
Sir, hold that thought. I'll come back to you. Mr. Antony, I want to bring you back into this conversation. You said that the Home Minister, Amit Shah, has made it very clear that there is going to be no loss in parliamentary representation when it comes down to the southern states. On what basis, sir? Because even I think journalistic inquisition also demands to ask, how is this formula being worked out that the southern states don't really lose out? Because I would think, Mr. Antony, any formula will be on the basis of demography, population. And with that sense, the South will move out. So what is the formula that is going to be adopted that will suggest that the southern states will not lose out? Or, or will they not lose out? So 39 Lok Sabha seats for Tamil Nadu will remain. However, you will have an exponential rise in Lok Sabha seats for states like UP and Bihar. Is that going to be the formula?
This is not a time for sloganeering. As I already said before, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, during the national election, one of his biggest issues he was raising was actually a caste census, where he wanted to do a caste census and then he wanted to give reservations and he wanted to do redistribution based on caste, religion, etc., which is not allowed in the constitution. At the same time, it is the Constitution of India itself that says that there has to be a caste census and there has to be a delimitation process. So this is something that is mandated in our Constitution, and the Bharatiya Janata Party is a responsible government, and we are having the responsibility to ensure that we uphold constitutional principles. And it has already happened multiple times, like my esteemed panelists also said. In 73, there was a delimitation commission. And at that point of time, states including Tamil Nadu had 41 seats in 1970 before that, but it became 39. Some states did lose out at that point of time. But in 76, finally, there was a constitutional amendment which froze it for 25 years. 2001, again, there was a census, and after that, there is a freeze for 25 years. Now the time is approaching, but at this point, like our Home Minister has made it clear that nobody is going to lose seats. But then let the census be out, let the census be over, and then let us now look at who is going to lose, who is going to, finally, delimitation is based on population, that is true. But at the same time, I am very sure that our government will be looking at all the avenues, and finally we will ensure that constitutionally guaranteed provisions and rights are given to our people. So there is no way of anybody treated fairly. There is no question of this being any particular victimization against southern states. There could be other states in other places also. In western parts, there are many other states, including opposition states, which are currently governed by the opposition, which are also going to have a rise. So even, let's say, states like West Bengal, etc., also had a population rise which is much bigger than many of the southern states.
All right. Okay, so one quick 1 minute each to the both of you. Mr. Saravanan, I'll give you 1 minute to explain what is going to be your focus in the all-party meeting on the 5th of this month.
Yeah, see, the focus on this all-party meeting is to ensure that the union government comes up with a foolproof measure which will not diminish our political representation. We don't want to be politically marginalized because the BJP suddenly wakes up and says, no, Constitution says it has to go by population, we'll go by population. And none of their assurances are going to cut ice. Definitely those assurances made on political platforms. And our Chief Minister, Mr. M.K. Stalin, has made it very, very clear that it has to be a written assurance from the Prime Minister, and which will have to be acceptable to all the states. The southern states, I think all of them are on the same page. This move is being supported by the Karnataka Chief Minister, Mr. Siddaramaiah, the Andhra Chief Minister, Mr. Revant Reddy, the Kerala Chief Minister, Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan, and of course, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, not long back, spoke about having more children. He has visualized this problem. He will come along. He is a strong supporter of federalism. So he'll come and support us.
I want to bring in, I want just one quick, minute, Mr. Antony, to you. The fact is, Mr. Antony, the BJP will stand to lose out here because even your own allies, Chandrababu Naidu might not have said anything, but his own MPs have gone on record to suggest that delimitation is going to be very unfair for the state of Andhra Pradesh. So you're not only alienating your own constituency in the south, but also your allies.
What exactly is the opposition proposal here? That is what, first of all, the Bharatiya Janata Party would like to ask. Like, what exactly is the opposition actually proposing? Because this is something which is mandated by our constitution and we are bound to follow constitutional principles. First, let the census come out, and once the census come out, let us look at what is the situation. I am very sure that there will be multiple states across India where population has increased. There will be some states where population might have decreased. In 1973 itself, like I mentioned, Tamil Nadu did lose 2 seats at that point of time. But this time our leadership, our Home Minister has very clearly said nobody is going to lose any seat. But let us follow constitutional provisions, and at the same time there will be consensus also. It will be done in a manner which is fair, where constitutionally mandated rights are given to everybody. But here, our opposition is just they are politicizing the issue by saying that Prime Minister should give a written statement. Why should he give a written statement now? First, let the census be over. And
all right. Okay, that's all the time that I have for now. Mr. Sarvana, I know you want to come in, but we're going to let it rest. I appreciate both of you for joining us. The all-party meeting is on the 5th of March, which Mr. M.K. Stalin has called. Will the rhetoric keep rising? Yes. Will there be clarity? We'll let you know sooner than later. Holi, the festival of color, love, new beginnings, and the triumph of good over evil. Traditionally seen as the festival of religious integration. Ramadan, a month of fasting, prayers, self-reflection and charity, followed by the celebration of Eid, traditionally seen as a festival of sharing, giving, gifting and integration. Both festivals in India have had people of different faiths come together in joyous celebration. But slowly, yet surely, there is a shift. The sharp communal divide fueled with political rhetoric has cut through India's social fabric. The upcoming Holi festival in Mathura has seen a communal clarion call this year by some Hindutva outfits, seeking a ban on Muslims during Holi celebrations across the Braj region.
ब्रज क्षेत्र में हम मथुरा, वृंदावन, नंदगांव, बरसाना, गोकुल, दाऊजी सभी जगह होली के दौरान मुस्लिम समाज के प्रवेश पर प्रतिबंध लगाएंगे। हम बिल्कुल नहीं चाहते कि मुस्लिम समाज का कोई भी व्यक्ति किसी भी प्रकार का व्यापार, रंग गुलाल बेचने का काम होली में करे या होली की भीड़ में घुसकर हुड़दंग करे।
Buy iftar items only from Muslims. Buy from those who will be happy during Ramzan and Eid. Buy for Ramzan and iftar from your own. These were just few of the viral posts on social media. The posts are calling on the Muslim community to buy goods from those of their own faith. This after there was a counter social media call to economically boycott Muslims during Diwali.
ये देखिए मैसेज है, ये देख ही रहा हूँ मैं, इस टाइप के मैसेज चल रहा है ये, और एक मैसेज और चल रहा है, कई तरह के मैसेज हैं, ट्विटर पे भी आ रहे हैं। तो ये मैसेज नहीं चलना चाहिए। चाहे हमारे हिंदू भाई की तरफ से अगर इस टाइप के मैसेज चले तो वहाँ से भी नहीं चलना चाहिए, अगर मुस्लिम भाई की तरफ से ये मैसेज चलता है तो यहाँ से भी नहीं चलना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये वतन हमारा मादरे वतन हिंदुस्तान गंगा जमुना तहजीब का मुल्क है।
हमारे जितना भी व्यापार है एक दूसरे से जुड़ा हुआ व्यापार है, और भारत की विशेषता है अनेकता में एकता और भारत की विशेषता। को बाधित करने वाले मैसेज हैं जिनको हम बहुत पुरजोर तरीके से इसकी मुखालफत करते हैं।
मेरे मुस्लिम समाज के लोगों से भी अपील करता हूं कि खुल के सामने आना चाहिए और ऐसे लोगों का बहिष्कार करना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो लोग ये मैसेज चला रहे हैं वो मुसलमान तो कतई नहीं है।
While locals say they will not let hate divide the society, politics is peaking on the issue.
ये जो बात कही जा रही है और इसका जो ट्विटर पर मुहिम चलाई जा रही है, मुझे लगता है कि सपा बासपा या कांग्रेस अब चुप क्यों है, अब कहां मर गई। सपा बासपा कांग्रेस अब क्यों बोलकर नहीं बोल रही कि ये देश जो है गंगा जमनी तहजीब का देश है और इसलिए सबको सबका सम्मान करना चाहिए।
ये दुर्भाग्यजनक है और भारत के समतामूलक स्वभाव के विपरीत है।
Politics is peaking along communal intolerance. Intolerance, a word sullied by politicians, but a word that today invariably reflects the lot of us. Can India rise above hate? Top focus on To The Point this evening. So the big questions that we ask on To The Point this evening. The growing hate that we have begun to see, the biggest threat to India's democracy, unity in diversity, key to India's resilience. This is something that we've seen in decades. Is that changing? Is Hindu-Muslim split, which is now wide out in the open, India's most dangerous divide? Secularism, key now to preserve India's constitutional fabric? And is it now time to openly boycott the boycott brigade? Let's take these questions to our panelists this evening. Joining me, Shantanu Gupta, political analyst, author, Atikur Rahman, Muslim scholar, researcher in Islamic studies, Rahul Ishwar, philosophy, author and Hindu activist, Zakia Soman, activist and co-founder, Bharatiya Muslim Mahila Andolan. Zakia Soman, what do you make? Because, today it's strange, absurd and a tad bit sad, because at one end you have clarion calls coming in from Mathura by right-wing outfits. At one time we used to call them fringe, but you don't know where that line has blurred, suggesting that no Muslim should be able to enter the festivities in form of somebody who's selling his wares or even participate in the festivities. On the other hand, in Bhopal, social media is rife with calls of an economic boycott of Hindus selling either, edibles or any other celebratory items when it comes down to Ramzan, which will be followed by Eid.
So, Preeti, this is really heartbreaking. This is obnoxious. This is quite angering. This is just not the way our country is. But unfortunately, we are seeing a lot of social division. We are seeing a lot of polarization, a lot of hate. And we are also seeing weaponization of religion. So religion is a very personal, intimate matter, right? Between me and my creator. I can be Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, anybody. But what we are seeing here is something else. It is not religion and religiosity. It is outright political. And it's that kind of weaponization of the religion. So rather than being a devotee, I am spewing hate against those who belong to other religion. And thereby, I think I am being devout. I mean, what kind of a cussed logic this is? And who are these people? And why is there no action against them? That is my question. Because our laws are all for harmony, for fraternity. Our constitution is for upholding the diversity, the pluralism, and our society is a multicultural, multi-faith society. And we have been India, even to independence, it's now more than 7 decades. And even before India became independent, we have all been, there has been a history, there has been a tradition of all of us living together. So what has gone wrong? And why are we not taking action against these self-appointed guardians of religion who are spewing this kind of hate and venom and who are harming the social fabric and who are a clear threat to the development of the nation?
Zakia, before I cut across to the other guests, because strangely and sadly, the times of the day demand I ask you, when you say action against religious fanatics, do you also mean action against religious fanaticism coming in from your own religion?
Of course, definitely. I mean, there can be no doubt about that. This has to be irrespective of religion. Anybody who breaks the law, anybody who spreads hate in society, anybody who is trying to mar the social fabric, they are working against our society and our country, and there should be, there should be action against them. How can I be specific?
Shantanu Gupta, I want to bring you in on this because it's really, the talk of social fabric should have happened many moons ago, but we've stopped talking about social fabric. Let's just talk about constitutional fabric. And I would think, and I would hope you would think as well, that somewhere down the line, you'll have to restore whatever India's secular values were to protect India's constitutional fabric. I want to ask you a direct question. When it comes down to Uttar Pradesh, where you have certain amount of fanaticism which seems to preach that do not buy from Muslims, do not allow them to enter during holy festivities, yet no action is taken. That's then somewhere down the line you're tacitly embracing.
I think in the starting, Preeti, you said that these things are happening openly these days, but I think you also meant that these things were surreptitiously happening anyways, right? And the three ways they were anyway happening from the Muslim side. First, the azan. The azan that we hear 5 times a day, they say Allah is the only God worth praying, right? Meaning the Ram, Krishna, anyone is not worth praying, right? Second thing, halal, the certification of halal is available in the market from last many decades. That's a Hindu ostracization of the business from going on from last many decades. Even if I go to a Pizza Hut, to a Burger King, to a McDonald's, to a cement factory, to a cosmetic halal, to a cloth halal, where a lot of Hindu butcher, like Kasai Jati, are out of business. So Hindu ostracization of the business is happening from far many days. And then when we see, then a lot of Muslim sellers add your spit to urine to whatnot to your food. Like who will want to eat that unhygienic food? So I think now one has to decide that this clash of civilization, how far it will go. Will the Muslim clerics take on things like halal, that halal certification is needed in food, in multiple other things? And if not, I'm sure both the parties will get active.
Shantanu Gupta, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It could be a tad bit personal.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, sure.
The question I'd like to ask you is, do you have friends who are Muslim and do they come to your house for festivities?
Yeah, they do come, yeah.
And they're your friends?
Yeah, that's why they come to my house.
So do you think it's wrong somewhere down the line, Shantanu Gupta, that a call has gone out which seems to suggest that don't allow any Muslims to participate in the holy festivity? Does it not somewhere down the line aggrieve you is my question?
I think you did not hear what I said. I said it again. The halal certification, which says a meat sold by a Hindu, a lipstick sold by a Hindu, a cloth sold by a Hindu, a cement sold by a Hindu will not be accepted by a Muslim family. This is going on for decades. So now one group in response may give a call. See, if you press me
but there's
against
a difference. I'm not, okay, I get what you're saying.
Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Halal is institutionalized. This particular call is coming from one group, right? This may also, tomorrow you may get a Sanatan certification. And I'm sure it should be incoming, right? If you not allow me, right, the major Kasai Jati, which were into butchering, they were out of profession because you can't sell.
Let me pose the question as I bring in Atikur Rahman, and I believe you're going to be joined by Rahul Ishwar as well. Let me pose that question again, Shantanu, to you, because you allowed me to ask you a personal question, and only that's why I'm asking. So you're not against Muslims partaking in festivities which are Hindu, being part of Holi, celebrating Holi with you.
See, when someone asks, can Muslims go to Mahakumbh, you know what Yogi Adityanath said? They can surely go to the Kumbh, but if they do any mischief, unki denting painting bhi hogi. I'm saying with that caveat, yeah, everybody is allowed in every festival.
Is that the caveat you keep for making your friends enter your house who are Muslims?
I'm saying you're not trying to hear what I'm trying to say. See, if you want to trivialize the topic, you can trivialize. That's fine, but you're not hearing what I'm trying to say.
Not at all. I'm hearing what you're saying.
If someone will add spit to urine to my food, I'll surely be alarmed. If someone will say I'll need a halal certificate to engage with my activities and then I'll surely be alarmed.
And you think, and spit and urine is not the preserve.
Just last 10 seconds. If my friend find a hero in Aurangzeb and Babar, I'll surely be alarmed.
Okay, fair point. I get it. And, I would also agree with you on that point, but let me also say, spit and urine is not the preserve of only Muslims. I would think it's as much as a preserve of Hindus as it is of Muslims. I want to bring in Atikur
We have
Rahman.
seen multiple cases, Preeti. You can shoot away.
Yes, sir, like I said, no, I disagree with you, but I think it's the preserve of Hindus and Muslims in equally. It's what prism one would look at it.
Show me
Atikur, allow me to open up the panel. I'll come back to you. I'll circle back to you.
Show me one example in Mahakum, 66 crore people.
Sir, allow me to circle back. Allow me to circle back to you. Atikur Rahman, I want to bring you into this conversation. The fact is, Atikur Rahman, what's happening right now in Mathura, where you have calls of a social boycott for Muslims, you reflect it now in Bhopal and flip it over. There are calls of an economic boycott for Hindus when it comes down to Ramzan or Eid.
Preeti, let us, face the real situation. That is, the divide is very much real. We need not, push it under the carpet. The main idea should be that who is trying to proliferate this particular idea of dividing the societies, and who is trying to minimize this particular onslaught of this divide. The Prime Minister of India is having a minister in the parliament who has said absurd things to a Muslim, but he is, he is still there in the parliament. There is a judge who spread venom against the Muslim community, but the Supreme Court gave it a green signal. The divide is real, but what we need to face is, Preeti, is that who is benefiting out of it, who is giving, gifts and ministries to these people, and who is trying to curb it. You have said on this thing on the show in the beginning that the Muslims are resisting it. The Muslims are saying that...
No. Don't get me wrong. I have not said. Atikur Rahman, let me come back in. Muslim, sir, I'll tell you what. What happens is it's me against them and us against, me or us. It's not like that. The question, am I allowed to ask you a personal question, Atikur Rahman?
Sure.
If I'm allowed to ask you a personal question, Atikur Rahman, then if you have a Hindu friend, is this the language you're going to speak to him in? Because then this divide, which you say is so real, is going to be omnipresent forever. There is somebody who has asked for a social of an economic boycott of Hindus during, and it's not one person, it's viraling on social media. The reason we put out those reactions were also because we do not want to spread the hate. That's the reason. But we found enough people as well on that side of the divide who seem to suggest that it is normal, it's fine, that one should economic and socially boycott Hindus.
Never, Preeti, never. And let me tell you, I have more Hindu friends, I have more Gujarati and Jain friends than the Muslims. Within my community, we appreciate, we appreciate that we have the cross, friendship along these lines. What I am trying to say is, the people who are in power, are they addressing this problem so that it is rooted out?
I'm going to leave it at that. I want to bring in, I'm short on time, I want to come back to all of you again. Rahul Ishwar, I want to introduce you. He's just joined us right now in this conversation. Rahul Ishwar, the fact is, I think we can admit the divide is right out in the open, and even, Shantanu was right. It's now seemingly projected as a civilizational clash. But who puts the bomb? Where are we headed?
Preeti ji, if you think the divide is deep and real, please come to South India. We crores of Hindus go to a mosque before going to Shabarimala temple because our God Ayyappa has instructed, first go and see my Muslim friend Wavar before coming to me. I am a proud Hindu right-wing activist. I was the person who gave complaint against Sadhvi Prachi for her Islamophobic remarks. Absolutely unacceptable Muslim Mukt Bharat kind of a remark. See, there may be problems, but we as a people can solve it. Please remember, we defeated the greatest empire in the history of the world, British Empire. Can't we defeat the hate between our communities? we Hindus and Muslims came together, sadhus and fakirs came together and defeated the largest empire in human history called the British Empire. Can't we defeat it? There are solutions. The path ahead is Mahatma Gandhi. The path ahead is pluralism, reconciliation, talk to each other. There may be problems. The path ahead is not Nehruvian secularism. The path ahead is Gandhian pluralism. If we are honest about pluralism, we can still have Hindu-Muslim unity and Hindu-Muslim brotherhood. And Pujaniya Sarsang Chalak Guruji Golwalkar used to say, the real issue in India is not the lack of uniform civil code. The real issue in India is the lack of Hindu-Muslim bhaichara, Hindu-Muslim brotherhood, or Hindu-Muslim sisterhood. Yes, if we go to that path of Pujaniya Sarsang Chalak or Mohan Bhagavat or father of the nation Mahatma Gandhi, we will still able to save Hindu-Muslim brotherhood and still able to celebrate our nation as the largest Hindu majority nation and one of the largest Muslim minority nation in the world.
Well, good on you, Rahul Ishwar, for saying what you did. I'd like to give all our panelists 1 minute each, to conclude on where we stand and what can be done. There've got to be some real answers to this. Zakia, would you like to go ahead?
So India belongs to all Indians. No one community or one individual has any copyright on India. And I entirely agree with Rahul Ishwar that we have defeated the mightiest British Empire. Why can't we defeat this virus of communalism and hatred? And I have hope, and my hope comes from the ordinary Indian. He has referred to South India, but I have seen Indians who love everybody irrespective of faith. I've seen these kind of Indians all over the country. So not just South India, but all over the country, and we will win.
All right. Shantanu, would you like to go next?
See, Preeti, I think we should form something like what South Africa did, something like a Peace and Reconciliation Commission, where both the parties came and settled it once and all, right? If you denied Holocaust, there can be a court case against you in 18 countries. But in India, you can have an Aurangzeb road. And Narendra Modi has to come in a Sikh-dominated Delhi to change the name from Aurangzeb road. Aurangzeb can be celebrated in India. That will not work. That will not work. My Diwali is bad. It creates pollution. My Holi creates water problems, but you want to sell in Holi. My Prayagraj Kumbh is, as per you, many people is not managed well, but you want to earn, you do economic income. This hypocrisy will not run long, I think. Yeah.
All right. So you're saying, so the way ahead, you're saying is maybe come down. I don't know who will come down. Will it be the politician? It doesn't seem so. Will it be the community elders? How does that matter then when political messaging is not going in from either sides again, Shantanu? But 1 minute Atikur Rahman and 1 minute again Rahul Ishwar.
Preeti, the people at large are united. The people do not cater to any of such communal ideas. It is the political parties who garner such ideas, and the main political parties who are in power under oath, if they are garlanding their own ministers for creating communal venom, then how can we expect that we can throw out a communal power like British? But the communal elements are sitting within our legislature.
Okay, Rahul Ishwar, 1 minute, sir. What's the way out? You say there might be a north-south divide in this as well.
April 13, 1921, Mahatma Gandhi and Pingali Venkaiah, when they designed our flag, they said saffron goes to Hindus, green has Muslims, white has Christians and other minority. Our flag, Mahatma Gandhi, is the solution ahead. We need pluralism, not Nehruvian secularism, but genuine, honest, positive secularism or Gandhian pluralism. In Mahatma Gandhi is the solution that we face of hatred that we have today.
I appreciate all four of you for joining us. I apologize, we didn't have that much time. The next time we try and maybe expand the debate and do one bigger debate instead of the two that we had this evening. We leave it for our viewers to decide. And I would reckon it's time to boycott the boycott brigade because messaging needs to go out. Thank you for joining us.